Yo, what is up, guys? I am here down in South Carolina, and I'm going to be doing a debate and a speech on a couple of different things, but it's going to be a good time. But anyway, I digress. I had to go ahead and make some quick comments, guys, because obviously you guys know some breaking news with Shannon Sharpe and him basically being accused of graping an individual, female. And look, man, I think at this point, it's pretty obvious that the MeToo era is slowly dying. And the response to these accusations when Shannon Sharpe pretty much proved that. So basically, he got a six-figure deal, $6 million, like in literally like $100 million, okay, podcast deal, because of the success of his podcast he's been doing. And, if you watch the show, he's talked quite a bit about relationships, and he's used some pretty red pill type theories, right? It's very obvious that he watches guys like us and Kevin Samuels, etc., because the way he's conveying a lot of his ideas, dude, let's just be honest here, it's red pill ideology, which is great. I'm glad that the information is getting out there. I don't care if I get credit for it or not. What I care about more is, like normies, getting this information, because obviously Shannon Sharpe is going to be able to reach a wider audience that I might not necessarily be able to because of my controversial rhetoric. We'll leave it there. So, I find it interesting that, once he started getting into this topic, going into a little bit deeper, and then he gets this big podcast deal, this woman wants to come out and sue him for $50 million for Grape, which is comical. And then to make it even funnier, she went ahead and hired one of the worst cloud chaser lawyers there is. For those that are unaware, this guy, he's basically the lawyer that's also running the Stern case. That's where the woman is accusing Andrew Tate, who's also pushing her crypto coin, as well as he's running a couple of the victims for Diddy. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he actually did the case against the accuser that came forward against Jay-Z as well, who ended up, dismissing her complaint. But the thing is, right, going back to what I was saying before, so the response to this has pretty much been, no one believes this chick, right? Shannon actually ended up getting his lawyer to write a response where they put some of the text messages in there that she had with Shannon. And in one of them, she said, "I'm going to put my tongue down your butt and then you marry me," or something like that. Basically, she's an ass eater, which is diabolical that he would release that text thread. But it goes to show, the reality of where we are, right? We can make jokes on her and call her an ass eater and a dirty chick and everything else like that, which she is, and a 304. But I think the lesson here is this. We're slowly starting to heal from the MeToo era. I think we've seen enough women come forward, make ridiculous accusations, try to get a payday, and get embarrassed. And people are starting to slowly wake up and realize that MeToo is a cancerous movement that is hurting the judicial quality and integrity of our system. And, you should know it's bad when these women are making lawsuits instead of actually going to the police, right? And again, who does this really hurt at the end of the day? I'll tell you who it hurts. It hurts the women that are actually being abused. It hurts the women that are actually being victims of sexual assault or rape or these other very heinous crimes. And, when these women come forward and they hire these big ass attorneys to try to make a bunch of money, it undermines the entire integrity of our criminal justice system. Because even if they go through with a civil matter versus a criminal matter, well, why did you go criminally, right? Why, if you are willing to go ahead and deal with the limelight and deal with, putting your name out there and everything, because when it's civil, it's going to all come out, right? At least if you go criminal, there's, grape shield laws in place that can help protect your identity to a degree. But when you go civil, it's all going to be out there. So it's very obvious that it's not necessarily about getting justice, it's about getting money. And I'm glad to see that even normies are starting to see this. I've been talking about Me Too and how grape culture is a myth for years. I remember me and Rolo did an episode on this on Fresh Fit. Go check it out if you guys want. So we called Grape Culture is a Myth, and we go through it systematically, 2 to 3 hours long, with studies and everything. How we live in this culture in America where literally, everyone thinks that grape is like happening all over the place, but the reality is it's not as prevalent as you think. And I know that's a very unpopular stance to take, but it's not. But that's what Me Too has done. Me Too has basically made it where They think it's like, oh my God, if I walk outside at night, I'm going to be attacked, I'm going to be raped. And the reality is it's just not as common as people think. And on top of that, a lot of women use it to their advantage to get benefits. And I'm glad that we're starting to slowly see, this situation happen. And honestly, the unraveling of the Me Too era started with the whole Johnny Depp case. Once he exposed Amber Heard for being Amber Turd and doing all those things that she did, and she lied, and she, luckily for him, he recorded the conversations, and he actually ended up becoming the victim, and he lost millions upon millions of dollars for this. And thankfully, he took her to court, he saw it through, embarrassed her, she lost, and that was a huge dent in the armor of the Me Too movement that had been impervious to that before. And then slowly but surely, we've been slowly starting to, kind of make these women like, hey, did you really get assaulted? Are you really being assaulted? Because again, I want to really harp on this. The only people that get hurt by this are the real victims. That's the problem. You guys know, I've told you guys a million times, violence against women is completely unacceptable. I tell you guys, keep your value high. So if your girl disobeys you, you leave. We don't sit here and negotiate with women. We just leave. If she doesn't like us or she's giving us a hard time, leave. That's how it goes, man. We don't negotiate with females. We fucking run our lives. Women don't run us. So when I say this stuff, right, I do that to protect you guys and also to protect the women. So you're not over here simping like an idiot over a chick that doesn't want you. Just go find another one, right? So I'm glad that we're starting to see basically the kinks in the armor of the Me Too movement starting to show, because the public sentiment when he put out his statement and when this came out was basically a lot of people didn't believe her. Whereas if this had happened maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, everyone would be, turning on Shannon Sharpe, saying that he's a sexual predator, his career would be destroyed, etc. But now, I don't think anybody believes this chick, man. And then the fact that he put out the text messages with his lawyer right away, adds even more credence to the fact that he's more than likely innocent. So, dude, it is what it is. She won the civil lawsuit, tried to get $50 million. Now she has egg on her face. Looks absolutely stupid. But I think this is just a microcosm of a much bigger movement, which is the Me Too era. The Me Too movement is dying. It started with the loss of Amber Heard in the civil court where Johnny Depp embarrassed her. And now we're seeing it play out now with what's going on with Shannon Sharpe. And I think it's a good day, guys. It truly is a good day for men everywhere, because now the real victims are going to get the attention. And these clout chasing 304s that want to, pump their cryptocurrency, like that Stern chick that accused Andrew, or Amber Heard, who's trying to get roles at Marvel, or this chick trying to get a quick $50 million after she found out that Shannon Sharpe was going to get $100 million. Now these women are getting embarrassed and ridiculed, and more than likely going to lose their civil cases. And it's also going to keep these ambulance chaser, clout chaser lawyers out of a job as well, and make them look stupid as well, and make them think twice about taking on these stupid cases. Because believe it or not, a lot of these lawyers will take a case even when they know that it's not winnable, based off of who they're going after. Because going after someone big will bring business for them whether they win or not, guys. That's why this guy's been able to retain all these women, because he's going after big names. He doesn't care about winning. He cares about just getting a retention fee and then representing you for a little bit. You go ahead and get embarrassed, lose in the civil court. He don't care. He gets his money. So that's what it's about, man. So slowly but surely, hopefully the Me Too movement dies, and women that are actual real victims aren't coming forward and trying to accuse people like that other chick. Remember her, the one that accused Brett Kavanaugh, that was selling a book? It's just becoming egregious now at this point. It's absolutely ridiculous. Some of these women have come forward. Eugenie Carroll, right, also promoted a book when she accused Trump, right? It's just absolutely ridiculous. Everyone is getting accused, and all these chicks have a book deal, or they're trying to get millions upon millions of dollars. The public is finally waking up. It's great to see. And yeah, man. So we'll see what happens with Shannon Sharpe. I don't think anybody really buys it at this point. Those text messages were hilarious. Go check out the statement that his lawyer put out of their conversations that they had. Chick is a fucking 304. But anyway, guys, love y'all. Peace.